New fallout from the Trump administration group chat revealing attack plans on Yemen that included a journalist. Scrutiny is focused on Vice President J.D. Vance, who did not support the strikes in Yemen, writing, "I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now." But the attack went forward anyway, and one MSNBC opinion piece says what it reveals is a cavalier attitude toward new open-ended bombardment campaigns. Joining me now is Democratic Representative Ted Lieu of California. He sits on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Good to see you, my friend. Before, sir, we get to the signal matter, I'm curious, how big a deal is this report that Pete Hegseth's wife, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, attended at least 2 meetings with foreign military leaders where, quote, sensitive information was discussed? What's your reaction to that?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. Let me first say that Secretary Hegseth must resign. He texted secret war plans to a journalist, and when confronted about that, he lied to American people and said it was a hoax when the White House had already authenticated the text messages. And now we have this story about Pete Hegseth's wife. I think reporters need to ask, what exactly was discussed at this meeting? Was it highly sensitive, and did she have a security clearance? What was her purpose of being at the meeting? And we need to know more facts. And if the White House doesn't provide that, then that raises all sorts of red flags.
Okay, true. And let's get to the signal matter. And again, as you've just said, you've called for Hegseth to resign. But beyond the security breach itself, the administration has tried to downplay it. Hegseth saying no classified intelligence was shared. Others in military circles strongly disagree. And some have suggested that Hegseth may have actually declassified the information after the fact. So what does this incident say about how this administration approaches foreign and military policy?
Every national security professional has basically said these would have been classified. Hegseth texted the exact time and date of the launches of military aircraft. There are stories now of military pilots being very upset and angry because this put their lives at risk. So the fact that Hegseth is still denying that he texted secret war plans to journalists is another reason he should resign. He still hasn't accepted responsibility. He still hasn't said, I'm sorry. He does not understand the gravity of what he did. He must go.
Let me show you what happened at a town hall held by a Republican last night. Let's watch.
Would demand the immediate resignation of Pete Hegseth, Michael Waltz, and the rest of the group chat.
No, I will not demand their resignation.
Well, apparently that first constituent agrees with your position there, but are you hearing any of your Republican colleagues, privately at least, suggesting that Hegseth must go? Or are they resolute in their support, like the Congresswoman that we saw there from Indiana?
So far, I haven't seen Republicans show any courage in standing up for what is right. If this had been a Democratic administration, they all would have been calling for the resignation of the Secretary of Defense.
Oh, yeah.
This is simply indefensible conduct. And again, this reckless action by Secretary Hegseth put military lives potentially at risk. It endangered our national security, and it makes our allies not want to share classified information with us.
And that is something serious. Let me get to Mike Waltz, who, yes, has taken responsibility for the chat, but then has also attacked Jeffrey Goldberg and accused him of somehow sneaking into the chat. Take a listen to this.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States. And he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
Hang on. Somebody's contact. Isn't he the one that added him to the group?
Mike Waltz has not accepted responsibility, as you just saw. And Jeffrey Goldberg, he put out all the screenshots of the text. People can read it for themselves. And one of them specifically says, Mike Waltz added you to the Signal chat. and it's right there in the screenshot. So Mike Waltz just needs to accept responsibility and own up to it. And what he just said clearly shows he still has not accepted responsibility. And for anyone who's used Signal, you can't add yourself to a chat. The person organizing the chat has to add you. So clearly the Trump administration did that, and it looks like it was Michael Waltz who did it.
So Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem toured a notorious mega prison in El Salvador this week, where the Trump administration sent hundreds of Venezuelan migrants accused of being part of the Tren de Aragua gang. And she posted this video, we're seeing it here, with those incarcerated men as a backdrop. Is this appropriate messaging for our Secretary of Homeland Security? This type of photo op, is it necessary?
So I am deeply concerned about the policies of the Department of Homeland Security. They are rounding people up, apparently, without due process. And look, we all want to deport violent gang members who are not documented. But the question is, how do you know you got the right person? And there are now stories saying that, in fact, sometimes they don't have the right person. And that is a massive violation of people's rights and of due process. And if they don't do due process, then anyone could be snatched off the streets, including U.S. citizens. And that is what is deeply concerning to me.
Have you or any members of Congress gotten assurances, gotten proof that these people taken to El Salvador are who the administration says they are? They're gang members?
No. And that's exactly why a federal judge said that what the administration did violated the law. Because the question is, how do you know the law even applies to these people? Because you may not have gotten the right people. And that's why it's so important that we uphold due process, which has been a cornerstone of our country for hundreds of years.
And as you've seen separately, I mean, it's not only alleged gang members being picked up. We are seeing international university students get detained, their visas revoked. In many cases, it is unclear what specific charges they're facing. Can Congress provide any oversight on this?
Republicans certainly should join Democrats in providing oversight. Again, so far, I haven't seen Republicans in the House with any spine yet. And look, we're not Russia or Iran or North Korea, and we shouldn't act that way. And the way that the Trump administration is acting and snatching people up without due process is horrific, and it's simply un-American, and they should stop doing that and give people due process.
Congressman Ted Lieu of California, our friend, thank you so much. Good to see you.